Hello, what's up, NFT Paris? How we doing? Last day. I'm sure we've all been through a lot, but we have this one big final day to push through. I'm up, I'm chipper, I'm excited to be here, happy to be here with you all. My name is Sander Lutz, I'm a reporter with Decrypt. And a big thanks to everyone on that last panel. Now, we are going to head into a little bit more intimate of a conversation. We're going to get Farokh back up here. And if you noticed, he is very high energy individual, very passionate, very excited. And I imagine he will be particularly animated for this conversation with Luca, the CEO of Pudgy Penguins, the NFT of the moment. So I believe if they are ready, then let's please give a big round of applause to welcome them onto the stage. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Luca, 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 Luca. What's up, Luca? You good?
How you doing?
Long time no see.
Yeah, I just saw you last night.
Yeah, it was fun, right?
It was.
It was an early one, though, thank God. They're making me work today. That's a nice drink you got there.
Yeah, I'll just put the Rec Guy branding, give OSF and Mando a little love.
I'm not mad at that, I'm not mad at that. Shout out to them. So, Luca, what are we going to talk about today? Pudgy Penguins, fireside chat. I've heard of the Pudgy Penguins before.
I've heard of them, too. They're
cute.
They're hanging around.
They were just there on the screen. Oh, well, there's a bigger one now. We just gave like 1,000 domains. It's a cool partnership you got going on.
Yeah, .pudgy.
Do you ever stop?
We don't stop. We go every day, 7 days a week.
I love that. Okay, I'm going to try this one again. Where are my Pudgy Penguin holders in this chat?
Let's go.
That's all they got?
Man.
Where are the Pudgy Penguins at? Oh, there you go. There you go. Big year, huh? Big year for you.
Big year, big 2023, bigger 2024.
I love that. So first and foremost, congratulations. I saw the Walmart reorder. Insane, with 1,000 additional stores. How has this experience been with Walmart?
Yeah, so I think, 6 months ago we got into Walmart in October. Though that was a really amazing moment, I think the Walmart reorder is a bigger moment. And so obviously the audience knows we're in Walmart, but Walmart basically gives you 3 months to see if your brand is going to work, and then just kicks you to the curb if it doesn't, and then brings you back if it does. And so we had 3 months to sell. We sold them 800,000 toys. We had to sell 80% of that. So we had 3 months to sell 650,000 toys.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. So we were thankful enough to meet that mark, come back in more stores in a greater expansion, and now we're in a more long-term program. And so what I think that kind of signals, and why I'm so proud of that moment, is this is like the first time outside of apes that I think NFTs have really broken into the mainstream, and the first time that you really meet consumers in a retail initiative that I think blockchain and crypto's ever seen. And so people think that this is just a Pudgy Penguins moment. It's really like a blockchain crypto moment, right? Everyone wanted mass adoption, and we have it, but we kind of have it in the background. You can actually go to your local Walmart, grab, a toy out from the shelf, and technically grab the blockchain because the QR code is linking to ZK Sync and all that. So I'm super excited. I'm super proud. I couldn't have done it without, obviously, holders and the Web3 support. It was a huge triumphant effort. It was one of the first times I think I've ever seen the space just kind of come together in a really big way. And we showed the biggest retailer in the world what Web3 and NFTs were about, and we'll be in there at least for the next 7, 8, 9 months.
Let's go! You got me hyped. I'm a big fan. And it's super, super cool. You had those holders sweeping those floors in Walmart stores.
Look, they were sweeping, but you can't sweep 700,000 toys,
Hell yeah.
And so definitely the holders, the Web3 audience, the NFT, consumers and fans and people that were just participating in this ecosystem made all the difference. But I also think there's some credit to be given to the Penguin. I've said this a while, but the Penguin is the Penguin, and I think one of the magical parts of why we bought Pudgy Penguins, why we believed in it, why I think the community believed in it for so long, even when everything seemed to be falling apart before we took over, was don't underestimate this IP and this Penguin and what it can do in the real world. That's what gave us the conviction to buy it. That's what I think gave the holders conviction to keep, holding the ground even when the sky seemed like it was falling. That Penguin is a powerful Penguin, and I think it would have done its thing without us. We're just kind of accelerating that process.
It's interesting you say that. But you stepped in as CEO, what was it now, 2 years ago?
21 months, yeah, 21.
Well, not
Yeah, April, well, actually 23 months. April would be the 2-year anniversary.
That's incredible. So what you've done in just under 2 years is really impressive in the space. We just had a panel on onboarding like billions of users, in Web3. This is a use case in the flesh in front of us now. What can you do big? Like, what's next after that, right? When you do, you got Walmart, 3,100 stores. It's huge. I don't know how many stores they have, but I'm pretty sure that's like most of them.
They have 4,000.
4,000, right? Yeah, exactly. So you're like almost in all of them. What's coming next for Pudgy Penguin? You said 2023 bigger, 2024 bigger. That means 2025 biggest, but then it doesn't stop. So biggest test, even though that's not a word, we're gonna keep inventing them. But what can you do bigger than that? Where does the vision go then?
I love that. I mean, the idea is how do you build, Web3's first ever legacy IP and brand, and one that meets current brands where they are, and then just takes this layer of innovation, this idea of aligned incentives, this first edition origin story that is this NFT that has all of these early believers, and how do you just take it where Star Wars is, or Disney is, or how whatever IP resonates with you, or Pokemon. We got to do TV. We've got to do movie. We've got to go into more stores. Walmart is one. You got to go Target. You got to go all of them. We're pursuing Pudgy World. I think we can tap into an interesting nerve there. I have an interesting thesis when it comes to gaming. I think people overcomplicate the gaming side of it. You just got to go really fun, really social, meet consumers where they are, make sure it works, make sure it flows. And I think Pal World was an interesting thing that happened a couple months ago, or it feels like 2 months ago, where you tapped into that Pokemon nerve. There's a nerve that Penguins can tap into that I think is really exciting and really viral in the real world. What I believe we do best is I think we know how to market with the best of them, and having a product like that come hopefully here pretty soon and being able to show that to the world is going to be really exciting. So movies, TV, gaming, more toys, more product, more aligning the incentive with holders, right? Getting them involved, participating, bringing their characters to life, almost like Full Metal Alchemy, and alchemizing these things from NFTs and blockchain into the hands of regular people. You don't need to have a Pudgy Penguin brand, NFT to enjoy the Pudgy Penguin brand, and I think that's what makes us undefeatable, right? As long as we get this penguin out there and we have 8,888 NFTs, something's going to happen, and I think you've seen that up until this point over the last couple of months, and so we're really excited to get this thing going and continue on this path.
Come on. Give it up, get up, get up. Dude.
You're funny, dude.
I want to run through a wall right now. I swear. Anybody else feels like running through a wall after this speech? Damn, that was bars. One question. This is 1 minute, but anyway, 30, right? To 150, right? I think I'm good, right?
Shit, I don't know.
Shit, we keep going. And so for the non-holders here, how does a non-holder? Because you just said something really big. You don't have to be a holder of the Pudgy Penguins to be involved. How does a non-holder today at NFT Paris get involved then with Pudgy Penguins?
Well, I think, look, we're all here at NFT Paris. We all give a shit and care about NFTs, or so I hope. It'd be weird if you were here and you didn't give a shit or you didn't care about NFTs. And there's a lot of people, I would argue, pretty much everyone doesn't get it. We're a small group that is bound by these digital collectibles and by this degeneracy that is this NFT trading that I know a lot of us enjoy. You know, there's no better way to get somebody familiar than to get a $10 Pudgy Penguin toy, say follow the instructions, scan the QR code, walk through the process, and within 3-4 minutes of them actually digesting that product, unpacking it, following the instructions, they will have some semblance of an understanding as to why we're all here. And that's the key. I just believe in this fundamentally, but like NFTs and the PFP specifically, it's IP. And to imagine it any differently, I think is just a fundamental mistake. And to have IP, like what does that do for Ethereum? What does that do for blockchain? What does that do for crypto? It actually is the mass market mechanism to drive what everybody's been preaching about for the last 10, 15 years, which is mass adoption. I mean, that's what it is. People are consumed by IP during recessions, during bull markets. People love characters. People love escapism. People love to disappear and live in a world that they don't currently live in. And the only way that that is done is through IP. And IP is, you know, you're an IP. IP is gaming. IP is, you know, movies, film, and TV. IP is lifestyle brands and character. IP is what this is. You know, you can do NFTs for other reasons. You can do NFTs for verification and you know, tracking and logistics of things. But when you're talking about PFPs, the game that you're in is you're in the game of IP. And who can build the best IP, who touches and impacts the most people? Because like, what does a CryptoPunk resemble to you, right? You have one on your necklace. You want to know why I think you have that? Because it's a status symbol, right? Like it is a symbol that you are early. It's a symbol that maybe you have money. It's a symbol that you care and that you're a part of this ecosystem. But, you know, how much more impactful is that symbol going to be when tens of millions of people know what that is, right? I tell our community all the time, like, you guys have the 8,888 Pudgy Penguins. When we build a community that tens of millions of people know and love Pudgies, you guys are the goats. You guys are the guys within that community that yield the highest status. And then, obviously, that translates outside of the current group. There's a lot of things here that I think you can digest and kind of, you know, when you look at this stuff. But fundamentally, it's IP and, you know, what does it mean to build IP? It means to build emotional connection, emotional value. It means to build toys and content and things that, you know, you can share with your friends and that others can digest. If this space is just a space for the people here, we should all probably quit what we're doing and just leave, because that's just not fun. Or if this is a space that's just segmented to, you know, the people who can afford a $50,000 penguin or $5,000 little Pudgy. There's no upside there. Eventually the whole thing just kind of collapses and you plateau and that's all that is. And this thing keeps blinking at me like a nuclear missile's about to launch. So
no, I think it's wrong.
I think it's wrong too.
Because it's at 10 minutes, but I'm pretty sure I was told I have 30 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think we're here for 10 minutes.
And the people deserve you for 30 minutes.
I would hope.
They
deserve you for 30 minutes.
Because I think there's this discrepancy between the screen and what's on my actual
all right, we're good
on
to
the
go.
calendar. Should we keep going?
Yeah.
Fire. Right? Alexandre is cool with it?
I love the chat. I hope
I love NFT Paris, honestly. It's like my favorite conference of the year.
It is, for sure.
It's really fun out here. It's wild how much Paris shows up, right?
Yep.
And I just realized none of us nearly own enough Pudgy Penguins, man. Ouch. But it's okay, I have a lot of toys. So Luca, last night, I had to ask him to kindly just like slow down on how many toys he's sending me. Because like I'm becoming Walmart. You know, I have boxes that are like this type. So you know what I started doing, Luca? And I told you that. And please don't stop sending me toys. But I started giving them out to like kids. And they love it. And so over Christmas, my neighbors came over to my mother's house. And I give their little daughter her first little Pudgy. And she was like, it was so cute. She was like in a princess dress. She was so happy about it. But what she doesn't really realize yet, and that she received her first ever NFT, right? By claiming it. And I think that that's like one of the most like interesting and use cases there is here.
And that hits it right on the head. Like, the upside is in the family. The upside is in everyone. I mean, I couldn't imagine building something that, you know, 8-year-old me couldn't enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, we have to realize that the TAM, the total addressable market, is bigger than the person to your left and bigger than the person to your right. Like, it has to be for the woman. It has to be for the child. It has to be for the 60-year-old and the 8-year-old and the person who lives in, the middle of nowhere and the person who lives in a metropolitan city. It just has to be bigger than this. The people here understand the internet. We understand internet culture. I look at this room and I see people who are, technologically advanced. But to assume that that is the world is to not understand the world. The world is so much less, I would say, hip or attuned to the things that we are clearly attuned to. And this is where we have to go. People used to, the biggest meme in the Pudgy Penguins community is like, is there revenue share? What does the toys do for holders? But like, that is just such a fundamentally mistaken mindset. I'll give you guys some alpha in the room because I think this is important. And it's not really alpha anything specifically to Pudgy Penguins. It's just to the NFT lovers, to the NFT connoisseurs, the people who really care about this stuff. The one thing you don't want is utility. It's the biggest, at least if you want what we all want NFTs to do, which is like elephant in the room, like thing go up.
Make money?
Yes. No one likes to address that, but I don't mind addressing it because I remember being that NFT collector, right? And just this idea of just like utility just starts and stops with one thing. It's just like utility. Okay, I don't need a $30,000 NFT to come into this room, right? A Soho House membership costs you $2,000 a year, so you're better off doing that, and Soho House is pretty great. Like utility is so transactional. What you want is community, you want culture, right? Like the second you abstract the layers and make it about something, it becomes a mistake. And that's been like I think a greater frustration of mine, like going through the space over the last 2 years. So I feel like for a long people didn't get it. They wanted revenue share. How much do holders make on Pudgy Penguin toys? Well, I'm actually pretty proud that some holders make a lot of money comparatively on their license for the toy sales. But it's not about that, right? It's about the symbolism. It's about the idea that we are in Walmart and every toy that we sell, a holder gets a royalty in perpetuity. It doesn't matter that you're not the holder. That's not what it's about. It's about the reinvention of IP. Imagine if other conglomerates and monopolies did that. That's the reinvention of an IP business that has never been reinvented, right? It's not about, how much money did I make here or there? And all that's crypto is, you are part of something great. The money will fly into, will come into your ecosystem. The defining factor is what you're building great? Is your IP great? Is your brand great? Is your community great? And we didn't even get into the community part, but they're probably the biggest part of this whole thing, and we're just flinging things around over here.
Speaking of community, I was told that we're done, but then I'm told I have 7 more minutes. So what we're going to do here, I want you to talk quickly about, while I go check in the back, you've been building big in Asia.
Yes.
Because I saw you out there in Korea. I see a lot of what's being built out there. You're here in France. We do something similar. We have like Rock Radio Asian Aliens, Rock Radio France, blah, blah. Yeah. Like, talk about the importance of building this community outside of just, like, let's say, the American bubble.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So this is my Freddie Mercury moment. I'm by myself here. Oh, nice. Look at this. Well, I guess, woo! I just want to say, while he's in the back, I want to thank a lot of you guys for supporting us. He told me to talk about something. I'm not going to talk about it.
Go.
Okay, cool. But while I hand it back off to him, I just want to say the Pudgy Penguins ride has been a roller coaster. It probably still will be, the nature of the space, but I look out in the audience and I see a lot of people that really backed us when a lot of people did not. And for that, I'll be eternally grateful. So I just want to give a round of applause for all of y'all who've supported us. It means a ton. So back to you. That was my Freddie Mercury moment.
Well, I'm glad I was part of your favorite Web3 moment. Actually, that's funny. But anyways, I do want to talk, though. I do want to tap into community because we do have time. Yeah. Actually, we do have 6 minutes and 30 seconds more, so let's use those, right, as well as we can. Let's tap into that community aspect. Let's tap into why it was so important in the rise of Pudgy Penguins, because a lot of people love to say, Luca's one of the greatest builders in Web3. Facts. Luca's one of the dopest dude. He knows what he's doing. Facts. Very true. but a lot of it goes towards the team. And I know you got a crazy team. Like I see Vadon over there. I see some of them in the front row. You got one of the craziest teams in the space. But the community is what really makes the whole thing.
It's everything. So for anybody interested in like building around NFTs and NFT projects, the community is the hardest part. And
Yes.
I can't tell I can't give you guys too much insight as to spark it from that initial run, because I kind of cheated my way and bought Pudgy, which I knew had.
Yeah, but you bought it at a very, very,
But
very low time.
I agree, but there were some badass community members there
But there
already.
were badass community members. What I'm saying is that you revamped, because they could have gone anywhere else.
True. But, you know, to give you some context, I said this on the Thread Guy podcast that I did recently, and shout out to Thread Guy. I think he's doing a phenomenal. And shout out to Rug Radio. You guys you're really doing your thing over there, dude. But it's like, think about community. And if you're a community member, I think this is really important to think about. But, you know, there's something that like the internet entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs say all the time. You'll get these Instagram reels and TikTok if your algorithm feeds you this stuff. But something along the lines of like, if you're around 5 millionaires, you'll probably be the 6. Or if you're around 5 losers, you'll probably be the 6. And whether you believe in that or not, I believe in it. Your sphere of influence is like a huge part of what makes you, right? I realized growing up I was around a wrong group of kids, and then I was like, I'm rather be alone and my sphere of influence be these entrepreneurs on YouTube so I could eventually be like them. But this is really important because, you know, when you're talking about NFT communities and you want to cultivate the right group of people, right? Like, no one wants to be in a community with a bunch of people that are like sulking and down bad and angry, and like, that's like, you will be the 6 and your community will never thrive there. The Pudgy Penguin community is filled with like Giga Chad traders, some of the best, the most Giga Chad venture capital guys and, you know, company builders. So if you're interested in being that and being around that, then a Pudgy Penguin PFP is a great way to kind of interject into this type of culture that can help expedite. And I try to do my part as a company. I can't tell you how many deals I've done. Doppel's a great example. Wallet Guard's a great example. If those guys don't have Penguin PFPs, I don't do those deals, right? Like I ignore you right? So like,
Player zero team.
Exactly, and that's just one example as obviously the leader of the Pudgy Penguin group, but other groups are symbiotic. Like, I can't tell you how many guys, you know, will go and, you know, cross-pollinate with other businesses, and they'll get that first touch point of that first response because they have a Penguin PFP interacting with other Penguin PFPs. And the same thing happened with Apes. I remember that was before I was a Penguin PFP, there was a stint where I was a huge collector of penguins early on, but then, you know, the Apes were doing their thing, so I was rocking an ape before I was at the Penguins, and I remember interacting with Apes who were similar in that respect. I was like, I wouldn't respond to you if you weren't an ape or a penguin, and there's something in that. Like, I'm saying that because there's a lesson to be learned in there, and what you extrapolate from that, I will let you derive what that means and what that means to you, but that's important. Yep. Give you a perfect example. We bought Pudgy Penguins. We did the whole buy the hype, sell the news. We went from 0.8 ETH to 4 ETH all the way down to 1. And the community could have easily been like, oh man, he did it. His whole thing sucks. Like, this is awful. But they didn't. They locked arms and they created a culture and a vibe that made people want to be a part of it. And all I'm doing, and my responsibility as a CEO, is to create ammo and reasons to be proud to be a part of the brand outside of just the community and the camaraderie. Like, you know, we get tons of views and we're building a brand and we're giving and we're trying our best not to take, and it's a really good, you know, reciprocal relationship. And I think this ultimately, you know, has led us to where we are today and where I know we're going to go in the future. But it's an interesting thought and one that I really want, you know, the audience to listen to. The idea of utility and when you ask for that and when you clamor for that, what that really means. And I actually think it's, you know, bottlenecks the potential. And then obviously, like, what's your role in the community? Because I'm super, you know, happy and proud to be leading the charge at Penguins, but I know Penguin community members that have been here for a long time are just as happy as well because they're responsible for this success. And so think of this and Web3 not around the technology in which you build, but the cadence in which you build it, and understand that we are all responsible for each other's success. You know, I am only as strong, and Pudgy Penguins is only as strong as our weakest link, our weakest community member, our biggest fudder. That's as strong as we will be, right? And it's important to know that. it is one for all for one or one for all, and you either are going to live and thrive together and grow together, or you're going to die together. And I think that's a really interesting thought that I want you guys to think about. Sorry for the monologue. I do that. You guys know that. But
That was so good, though. I think we should just, I mean, we may as well just leave it off on that.
We'll leave it
Luca.
off on that.
You know, I was going to say any last words, but it looks like, you know, that was
a good
pretty
one.
much. Oh, there's the free.
There's a QR code.
The Pudgy.
Yeah. And there you go. That's the Unstoppable Domain crew. Shout out to them. Obviously, Sandy talked about .pudgy. There are a bunch of Penguin supporters and Penguin holders, so I'd love to support them. And this is a great initiative. This is, you know, if a Pudgy Penguin is, you know, too expensive for you or a little pudgy, I understand. But you can rep and rep the brand and rep the culture and rep the vision with a .pudgy, and so I highly support this.
And that's free.
Yep.
Well, there you go. .pudgy
There you go.
is everywhere. Luca Ness, ladies and gentlemen, give him a big
Thank you,
round of
guys.
applause. Yeah.